Hello dear students. Since last two lectures we are dealing with the lesson on saying please. Today we are going to see the third and the last part of the lesson. In the first two parts we have seen that the examples of liftman and his passenger, the rude behavior of the liftman, and in the second part we have seen the nice and polite conductor, the way he helped the writer, the way he offered his ticket, and all that. Now, see, the third and the last part of the lesson is this. A few days after, my most sensitive toe was trampled on rather heavily as I sat reading the on the top of a bus. I looked up with some anger and more agony. So one day, writer's feet was trampled by someone, and writer was in pain. He was in anger and agony, and saw my friend of the cheerful countenance, and none other than conductor was there. The conductor, oh, okay, that the happy person, and he was with his happy face, countenance, face. Sorry, sir, he said. I know these are heavy boots. Got them because my own feet get trod on so much, and now I am treading on the other people's. He said the conductor was also victimized in such incident, and funnily he is trying to make the things lighter, comically or funny, in a funny way. He said he is doing that intentionally because he was also trampled by someone which may not be there. He's just trying to ease the situation. He had hurt me, but he was so nice that uh, even though writer was hurt badly, the writer assured him he hadn't. After this, I began to observe him whenever I boarded his bus, and found a curious pleasure in the constant good nature of his bearing. So, writer started observing that person's good nature. He was very happy-go-lucky type of person, and he made his people very comfortable in that bus. Whenever the writer observed him, I noticed that if it was raining, he would run up the stairs to give someone the tip that was room inside. So, whenever there was any rain, the conductor would help that person. So, he was not only helping the passenger inside the bus, he was helping the passengers outside the bus as well. With old people, he was as considerate as a son. He was like their son with the old people, and with children as solicitous as a father. So he was treating the people of different ages with different attitude. Sometimes he was like a son, sometimes he was like a father. Not only that, he had eventually a peculiarly warm place in his heart for young people also. See, he dealt with young people in very or funny way. He used to make fun with them and all that, and always indulged in some merry jest with them. So, one and all, he was such a nice person who used to mix up with all kind of people, all aged people. If he had a blind man, for example, if he had a blind man on board, it was not enough to set him down safely on the pavement. He would call to Bill, means the another person to help him. So the conductor was such a nice person. He not only helped the different aged people, he used to mix up with them, but also the conductor helped some blind people as well. So when and all, this page, you can say, gives us all these things. One can analyze that another day the writer felt pain in its sensitive toe as he found that the friendly conductor trampled it. Yes, the conductor said sorry and gave a funny response by saying that his feet got trampled by someone with heavy boots. So he was trying to make situation lighter by saying someone also trampled his feet, and from then on he was using those heavy boots and all that. But it may not be the case. It was just an example of saying sorry in a different way. And now he is doing the same. He apologized to the writer. It's a sign of a great man or good man to apologize to someone straight away. The writer assured him that he hadn't hurt his feet. He was apologizing in such a way, even if the writer was hurt, writer was saying the conductor did not hurt him at all. After this incident, the writer began to observe the conductor's good nature. The conductor was a gifted person with lot of patience. Yes, patience was the key in his personality. He was not only helpful to the needy from children to the elders, but also blind people. One and all, the man was with good temper and kindness, that the people enjoyed the journey with him as he was with good manners and natural courtesy. So, this is what the first page is about of today's lecture. Now, see second page. Now, second page, as there are three, four paragraphs are there, we will try to finish it very quickly. See, in front to wait while he took him across the road or the corner. So, the conductor took the help of other people to help blind people as well, or otherwise safely on his way. In short, I found that he irradiated such an atmosphere of good temper and kindliness that a journey with him was a lesson in natural courtesy and good manners. So, one and all, traveling with conductor was a good lesson of natural courtesy and good manners to everyone. It is not only about writer, it is for us also. What struck the writer particularly was the ease with which he got through his work. Yes, this is one more thing. See, achieving something with ease and achieving something with effort is another thing. So you may say the best example to analyze this thing is this. Have you seen Roger Federer while playing tennis? That is what the ease is about. Have you seen Sachin Tendulkar batting? Have you seen Virat Kohli batting? That is what the ease is about. They are doing their best, but whenever you see them, you will not find the efforts, because whatever the efforts they need to take, they already did in the nets. So, if you want to get good marks, don't work hard in the examination, work hard here, and the examination will give you marks with ease, at ease, you can say. So, if bad manners are infectious, so so also are good manners. Yes, whether it is bad manners or good manners, they are infectious. If we encounter incivility, most of us are apt to become uncivil, but it is an unusually uncouth person who can be disagreeable with sunny people. It is with manners as with the weather. Nothing clears up my spirit like a fine day, said Keats. John Keats, very famous poet of English literature, very nice quote of John Keats is being mentioned here. Nothing clears up my spirit like a fine day. So there is no prejudice. There should not be any prejudice in your mind. Start a new day with new spirit. This is what the intention of this particular sentence. And a cheerful person descends on even the gloomiest of us with something of the benediction of a fine day. Even if your days are bad, even if your time is not good, but if you come across with such a nice person like conductor or such people, you will find that even that day which was considered as the bad day can be converted into a good day if you are having such kind of people with you. And so it was always fine weather on the polite conductor's bus, and his own civility, his conciliatory address, and good humored bearing infected his passengers. So it was always a nice journey with the conductor because of his good humor personality and his sense of humor, you can say, good humored personality. In lightening their spirits, he lighted his own task. His gaiety was not a wasteful luxury, but a sound investment. So, whatever he was doing was considered as, or is considered as, sound investment, one can say. So, one and all, this is what the story of a conductor. But what happens next? I have missed him from my bus route of late, but I hope that only means that he has carried his sunshine onto another road because of maybe transfer or something like that. The writer was unable to meet him on regular basis after some time, but writer was hoping that the conductor would have doing same thing on the other road with other people. And I make no apologies for writing a panegyric on an unknown bus conductor, even though there wasn't any mm, friendship or some kind of relation between the writer and the conductor. But the writer always praised him, means the conductor, for his nice behavior. If Wordsworth, William Wordsworth, very famous poet, could gather lesson of wisdom from the poor lich gatherer on the lonely moor, I see no reason why lesser people should not take lesson in conduct from one who shows how a very modest calling may be dignified by good temper and kindly feeling. So, in William Wordsworth writing, he praised wisdom, and the writer expect same praise for such people who are there to guide us, or who can be considered as guide for many people with their good temper and kindly feeling. It is a matter of general agreement that the war has had a chilling effect upon those little everyday civilities of behavior that sweeten the general air. We must get those civilities back if we are to make life kindly and tolerable for each other. So, if we want to live a life with peace, nice life, then we should go back to our civilities, which were there since last so many years, but nowadays they are seem to be missing. We cannot get them back by invoking the law. Yes, law is not the option. The policeman is a necessary symbol, and the law is a necessary institution for a society that is still somewhat lower than the angels. So our society is good, no doubt about it. But still it needs policemen and law because we are not civilized in that sense. See what he is trying to say. But the law can only protect us against material attack. Yes, physical attack, material attack. Law is there to protect us. But what about moral things? Nor will the liftman's way of meeting moral affront by physical violence help us to restore the civilities. So, whatever that liftman did was not right, no doubt about it. So, writer suggests him that he would have had a more subtle and effective revenge if he had treated the gentleman who would not say please with elaborate politeness, you can say. So, writer here is expecting that the liftman should have treated his passenger nicely, politely, the way the conductor treated his passengers. So, one and all, this page can be like this, analyzed like this. After some time, the writer didn't meet him, means the conductor, on the route. As William Wordsworth, the romantic poet, praised wisdom in his poetry, the writer surprised to see the people didn't learn the lesson of good temper and kindly feeling from the one who possesses it. Yes, it is right. One must agree on one point is that we must get those civilities back if we want to live peacefully. Civilities back, we need to get them. Otherwise, there will be no peace in the society. And very importantly, we can't get them by enforcing law. Law is not the answer. These civilities need to be inculcated. We are imperfect as a civil society. That's what the lesson is about. That's the reason of the law and police are still needed to control us. But the law can protect us from material loss only. It is of no use in terms of moral loss. The writer expected that the liftman would have reacted in more polite manner to the rude behavior of the passenger. So it is all about being polite. Now see the last page of the lesson, the important one. He would have had the victory. He means the liftman would have had the victory not only over the boar but over himself. And that is the victory that counts. See, if you are winning someone, that also counts. But the more important victory in one's life is to win oneself. So I suggest you to win yourself. Don't try to compete with others. Try to win yourself. Try to win your bad habits, bad things in your personality. Try to control on them. The polite man may lose the material advantage. Yes, in terms of Mahatma Gandhi, it can be said always. You may lose the material advantage at the beginning, but he always has the spiritual victory. Yes, I commend to the liftman a story of Chesterfield. Chesterfield, Lord Chesterfield, English statesman, author, and patron of letters, very famous personality in English literature. So there is one story of his wisdom, his wit, and his presence of mind. Nice one. Let's see. In his time, the London streets were without the pavements of today, and the man who took the wall had the driest footing. I never give the wall to the scoundrel, said a man who met Chesterfield one day in the street. So there is the story of Chesterfield. One day, a man, an arrogant person, met Chesterfield, and he refused to give the road to Chesterfield by saying, I never give the wall to a scoundrel. But see the answer. I always do, said Chesterfield. What a nice answer it is. Stepping with a bow into the road, I hope the liftman will agree that his revenge was much more sweet than if he had flung the fellow into the mud. So, one and all, we can say that with the example of Chesterfield also, and the conductor, and other examples we have seen throughout the lesson, one must say that there is no substitute for politeness. Your anger can't help you in any situation. Ultimately, you are going to hurt yourself with your anger, with your ego, and with your pride. So now this is what the lesson is about. See the summary of the last page. The liftman missed the chance of winning himself. The most difficult victory is to win yourself. Yes, that man missed the chance of winning himself. He won the battle with his passenger by throwing him out, but he missed the chance of winning himself by excusing that person, by saying polite words to that person. If you are a polite person, you may lose material advantage, but always had the spiritual victory. As we discussed, it is the case of Mahatma Gandhi all the time. At the time of Chesterfield, the pavements were not there, and a rude man refused him to give side by saying, I never give the wall to a scoundrel. It was an insult of Chesterfield, an attack on his personality, but he answered beautifully by saying, I always do, and bowed into the road. So that was the best answer one can give to the people like, the person who was trying to insult Chesterfield. The presence of mind and manners at its best. Yes, this example proves that. The writer felt that if Lippmann would have reacted that way, his revenge was much more sweet than throwing his passenger out of the lift. So, neither verbal nor physical, one should be, very polite in his or her activity. If you want to consider yourself as a really successful person, see, as we discussed in the first and second part, see, most of the famous personalities are always, always there with their humble nature. That's why we talk about Sachin Tendulkar. That's why we talk about Roger Federer, Lata Mangeshkar, and such people are there. So one and all, this lesson underlines the importance of social etiquettes, manners, and the importance of such things in our lives. Now, let's come and see here the liftman, the passenger, and the conductor, and their traits are there. You can go through the table. The liftman, some adjectives are there for him, are irresponsible, unlawful, rude, and unprofessional. The passenger was rude, disrespectful, ill-mannered, and egoistic, while the conductor was opposite to them. He was polite, professional, happy, and helpful. So this lesson is about A and B categories. You can say the liftman and the passenger, they are in A category, the rude, irresponsible, unlawful, ill-mannered. And the B category is of conductor and the writer, or the another writer which is mentioned in the lesson, Chesterfield. So they were polite, professional, happy, and helpful. Now it is up to you on which side you want to write your own name. Think about it. Thank you so much.